a pair 3. As Gun Blazers, we're going to bring you specifications you can relate to so you can have an educated decision on your purchases. If you're new to the channel, I do have the specifications at the beginning. My personal opinion is going to be at the end. But this one is from Hogue, so thank you very much to Hogue for providing this to the Pass Around group. This is one that's from Sig, so basically a Sig exclusive lineup, and then it's going to be kind of developed for elite shooters, so that's that Legion line. So if you have your Legion firearm, then you can have a matching Legion knife, and that's what this is. It's from Sig, built by Hogue. So this is going to be how this looks here. So that's going to be what it looks like in pocket, and then it does have a fairly big ramp. So this is going to be something that's probably good for operators to get that into pocket, get it over any webbing, belts. So that's going to be something that is for this pocket knife. So that's going to be the sizing on this one here, but it is an aluminum frame with G10 inserts. It does have the Legion logo, so again, it matches up to what you already have, because this is something that they already are making the scales for it, so they already have that pattern that's available, and then it matches up to your Legion firearm. But this one comes about 4.8 ounces. So 4.8 ounces for this channel, that's going to be about 24 quarters. So that's going to be what you have here. So 24 quarters is what you're going to have for the weight. And then that's where you can hold that, get your quarters. Maybe if you have a different knife, if you know the weight to that, then you can go and just put it on top of it. It makes it feel like you're actually holding a knife. Makes it a little bit easier to know how that's going to be in hand. So price point on this is going to be a $212, MSRP about $249.95, and then the pull weight on this. So this one actually does have a patent pending device. So if you hear, maybe if you can hear it, so when it's closing down, it actually has a detent. So there's a mechanism inside that actually makes that initial detent. This is where it's not going to flip out on you at all. So it's not going to open up. And that's something that button locks, even my own button lock, it will do that if you are intentionally trying to whip it open. But this one will not do that. It also does have the lock in the open position. So if you're worried about depressing this lock, then well, lock it out. Then you're not going to have it close on you at all. For this knife. So that's something that's really nice about it. So you can open it up and then just close it down with authority. So like you actually want to close it. If you're just going to close down like a regular button lock, then it's not going to be closing down. You just got to push it the rest of the way. But that's going to be how that one operates for this one here. Cutting edge on this came out to be about 3.4 inches, which is pretty close to the total length. It goes basically from this point to the tip is 3.4 inches. And then the actual total length of the blade is 3.45, and this is a spear point blade, so that's going to be what this looks like here. The G10 is in the insert, and then you have aluminum handles, and then you do have the logo right there, so it's a really nice, handsome looking knife. It is something that is going to be per style, so if you like this look, and then you now like the way that it fits in hand, that's going to be really good for yourself. But this is going to be one that has basically two opening methods that I found to be really where you're going to be using it. So it's going to be a light switch, or it's going to be a traditional, so basically a two-hand open. I normally have like things like a pinch and roll and everything else, but basically to pinch it open and then to roll it open, it's just a little bit more cumbersome. There's not really much grip here to push it the rest of the way. So that's really why I just gave the two opening methods, which is going to be the light switch and the traditional style. So this is going to be flat grind as well. So it goes for a flat grind. And then the actual blade stock is a fairly thick blade stock. So this is going to be 3.8 millimeters for this blade stock. And so with that, it is going to have a strong blade for it, but it does have a little bit thicker edge. So this is about maybe about 30 thousandths, maybe about 7 sheets of paper, maybe about 7.5 sheets of paper. You can't really get a half sheet of paper, so really about 7 sheets. So take it out of your printer, and that's going to be how thick this is behind the edge for this knife here. It's going to be a right hand tip up and left hand tip up. So they actually do include a pocket clip for the other side. So if you do want to switch it around, so right now it's set up for a right hand carry, and then if you want to switch it over to the other side, they do have another pocket clip, since this is actually bent over a little bit, so it does have an angle to it. So there is a specific one for left hand or weak side carry. So that's where you want to do that. So it really depends on where you're having going along to the firearm side, where you're having your firearm, and then where you're going to have your knife. So that's going to be, you have that option of one side or another, and that's going to be something that's really pretty good for an operator. But this pocket clip, in using it, I found it to be a little bit too stiff. So that's something that I could probably bend out if this was my own knife, which it's not. So I'm not going to be doing that. But it does clear the pocket really well with this type of ramp. But that does under normal wear, so wearing jeans and everything else, it does stick up quite a bit. So that's a little bit more than I need for my use. But then that's where it's going to come down to something that can be adjusted if you're going to have it be your own knife. So that's going to be one that's available for it. So this one really does lock open. So that's where if you want to actually lock it open, if you're concerned about a button lock, then you can actually just lock it open. So this won't actually deploy, so it does move a little bit, but you're not going to be having this closed down at all. So that's something that's really nice about it. So overall, in working with this one here, I really appreciate what Hogue does with their lineup. So their regular Hogue lineup, they have the Sig lineup and the HK lineup. So that's actually something that is really quite good, and it's a US manufacturer. Neil and his team do a great job with their knives, and they stand behind their product. So this is another one that's still a lifetime sharpening, lifetime warranty. So basically there's along the Benchmade line, and I don't think they still get credit a lot for that, where they really do deserve it. So going along for the sizing wise, that's going to be a pair 3, and then you're going to have a bug out. And then here's the rat number 2. And then you do have the Ryan Solaris for the knife here. So for my recommendation for this one, I would say to borrow it because it's not something that I found that I was really attracted to in picking it up. But also I'm not an operator. I'm not somebody that's going to be really relying on it for those life or death situations, or really getting out there and working the knife how it's probably capable of. So that's where I would kind of fall under as far as this knife here. But let me know as far as your comments on it, what experiences you had with any of their knives, because they do have, again, their Hogue line, the Sig line, and HK line, USA manufacturer. So do support those folks, and then really do appreciate them allowing us to be able to check this out. And thank you very much for that. But that's about all I have to say about that one today.